Hello, and welcome to the MedEdits YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be discussing why are medical school applicants rejected. Interestingly, this is a topic that I have been writing about since 2012 in both Kevin MD and in US News and World Report. And the reasons that applicants are rejected really has not changed much since then, with the exception of one key factor that I will be discussing. My name is Dr. Jessica Friedman. I am a physician and a former faculty and admissions member at the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai. I am also the founder and chair of MedEdits Medical Admissions. Every year, we receive phone calls from applicants who have been rejected from medical school, despite having competitive MCAT scores, a competitive GPA, shadowing experiences or other clinical exposure, research, and other experiences that should make them very competitive medical school applicants. Today, I'm going to be discussing the top 5 reasons that medical school applicants are rejected. Reason number 1 why applicants are rejected from medical school is because they create an unrealistic school list. And I'm going to use 2 students to illustrate my points. Student number 1 has an MCAT of 516 and some other very impressive accomplishments, and she applies only to Harvard and other top 20 medical schools. However, despite having an MCAT of 516, which is very impressive, that MCAT score, unless there are other extenuating circumstances, is really not all that competitive for schools such as Harvard, and she is rejected from medical school. Applicant number 2 is a California resident with an MCAT of 505, and reviewing the MSAR, this applicant learns that the Mercer University School of Medicine in Georgia has an average MCAT within that range. However, Mercer does not take any out-of-state applicants, so the California resident has literally 0 shot of getting into Mercer, despite matching their MCAT score. So when creating your school list, it is very important to look at the MSAR and to review the data for average MCATs and GPAs, as well as how many out-of-state students they take to figure out if you are competitive for those schools. Not creating a realistic school list can ultimately lead to rejection. Reason number 2 that applicants are rejected from medical school is poorly executed personal statement and work and activities, which comprise the primary application for medical school. What is most important when writing your personal statement and work and activities is that your application has balance. You want to address why you want to be a doctor, but you also want to address who you are as a person. So you must focus on what you have accomplished and what you have done to explore your interest in medicine. When reviewing the materials of students who are rejected from medical school, we find that those materials are often too soft or too focused on background information, and there is not enough information about what those applicants have actually achieved and what they have actually done to pursue their academic and scholarly and clinical interests. And typically, it's because they either had no one review their application materials or they had somebody who had none to little experience in actual medical school admissions to advise them correctly. Reason number 3 that applicants are rejected from medical school is because of submitting a late application. Because medical schools extend medical school interviews on a rolling basis, the earlier that you submit your application, the smaller the pool of applicants that you will be considered with. So therefore, if you want to increase your chances of being extended an interview, you want to submit your application as early as possible to be considered within that smaller pool of applicants. The earliest that medical schools can extend acceptances is October 15th. So if you are one of the earliest applicants to interview, you can therefore also be one of the earliest applicants to receive an acceptance. Reason number 4 that applicants are rejected from medical school is because they do not prepare well for medical school interviews. Assuming that you are having a traditional medical school interview, you will be having a conversation with a faculty member, and that will be a one-on-one conversation. Ideally, you want your interview to be as conversational and as natural as possible. You do not want to memorize responses, and you don't want to offer canned responses. The best way to prepare for a medical school interview is to do mock interviews with people who actually have medical school admissions experience to ensure that you do not offer canned responses and that you are natural and as personable as possible. Another reason that applicants are not accepted to medical school is because they get the wrong guidance. And this has become a really big problem over the past several years. Now, it's possible that you may have a pre-medical advisor at your college who is very young and doesn't have much experience. But what we have found is that there are many people, both on the web as well as on YouTube, who have no experience in medical school admissions, have never gone to medical school, never done a residency, and certainly have no medical school admissions experience and are giving poor guidance that is misleading applicants. There is another group of people that often advise students, and those are current medical students. And while there is value in peer-to-peer advising, when a student offers guidance, they are offering guidance based only on their experience and what worked for them when they went to medical school, or maybe they're guiding you based solely on their experience on an admissions committee as a student. So when you are looking for help, you want to make sure that the person guiding you has medical school admissions experience and experience in medicine and academic medicine. And we find that this is very important, and these are criteria for all of our advisors here at MedEdits. So what should you do to make sure you are not rejected from medical school? First, create a realistic school list that is based on the available data. Write balanced documents, that means your personal statement and work and activities entries. Apply as early as possible. Do mock interviews so you make sure that you are comfortable when walking into your actual interviews. And get the right guidance from people who have medical school admissions experience at medical schools in the United States. We encourage you to subscribe to our channel so you'll be notified whenever we post new videos. Also, feel free to make comments below and we will respond to any questions that you post. And finally, visit our website, www.mededits.com. We wish you the best of luck.